Doing a little breakdown here on how I've been building this rock dock for the layout. And the bridge itself is built. I'll show you that here in a bit. I'm showing you how I'm building my the trestle piers, the bents for this thing. So I've got the basics kind of worked out there. And I've got 8 of these things done so far. And I've just been using this little jig that I made. So I'll show you how I put one of these together here. I'll take one of the top pieces there. Doing this all with yellow wood glue. So I've cut top pieces of 4x12 scale. Probably end up doubling those up on the top section. I'm not sure yet. So start with a little glue dot right in the middle of that one. And I'm trying not to glue the pieces to the jig itself. So that's why I'm using a toothpick to apply this stuff. I'm trying to be as careful as I can. Now the centerpiece of these bents is about 5/8 of an inch longer than the rest of the pieces because I'm going to drill a hole down the center line of the bridge. I'm going to drill holes in the foam so that each one of these pieces, the straight centerpiece, will go into the foam while the rest of these other 4 sit on the surface. So that's first things first, get that centerpiece in there. Then we'll take some of our stock here. And this is just what is it? 30 12-inch dowels, basically 1/8 of an inch, for $3. And stained them up with some Minwax. So what I do is the bottom of this lighter piece here is the distance between the bottom of the bridge section and the ground level of the layout. As you can see, just kind of making a dot on there. It'll squirt out and make the necessary contact it needs to. Like I said, I've already glued over a half a dozen of these things together, and they seem to be holding up quite nicely. I've got the rounds in place. Dab a little glue on each of these pieces here. And then I'm just kind of lining this up using the old eyeball here. This helps make the assembly go reasonably fast. It takes some of the tedium out of it. It also helps to pre-cut a lot of pieces. Had I thought before hitting the go button on this camera, I would have pre-cut these other timbers for the bent. So we get a little bit of time to set up, and I guess while it's in this position, we can go ahead and add the cross brace, which is made out of 4x8 lumber. And how I'm doing the alignment on this is I'm kind of holding the toothpick along the line that I want the thing to go, and then just backing it off and letting the glue land where it should. Then Once all that sets up, we'll pop this out of the jig and flip it over, add the other cross brace, and then you get, but we'll get back to this as soon as the glue sets up, and wrap that up. Okay, so I think the glue is dried enough that we can take this out of here and get that other side done. And how I'm doing this is I'm grabbing the part by the base here, tipping that out first, then so like that one I felt a little bit of stickiness right there, but I don't force it, I just pull on it. If it comes unglued, of course I'll have to put everything back in and reglue it, but that came out. In fact, that's the first time out of the 8, this one being now number 9. I think I need 14 of these things. That was the first time any of these gave me any trouble getting out of here. So that's how these have been going. I'll probably can make one more, and then I have to stop and cut some more pieces. I think I might actually have to stain some more pieces. I've got there's 2 different sizes of material I'm using, the 2-inch long 4x and the 2.5-inch long 4x. That's what's going on here. Doing all my little buildy things, and it'll certainly be worth it. My scratch-built beam bridge has also been a very rewarding project in itself, and I'm hoping that this will have kind of that same feeling, since even if I wanted to buy the kit version of it, there is no kit version. So making these little guys by hand and scratch building a long bridge is pretty much the only way I can see to getting this done. So anyway, let's go take a look at the bridge deck. Alrighty, here's our bridge deck for the rock dock, and this is built entirely out of basswood. Just used a lot of northeastern scale lumber and some other stuff that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. What with Caboose Hobbies having its own little difficulties and issues right now, and of course not stocking anything until they find a new location. So that's kind of made things tough. But see, I've got the wooden retaining wall there built out of 4x10s, and then this bridge here, the walkways on either side will get a 2x4, 4x4 post fence on either side in lieu of handrails, just because car operators have to walk along either side, either to make cuts or to open the dump doors. And you can see I've kind of made some open areas in between there. Basically, there's a reason I'm building 14 pilings for this, because every one of these locations is going to get a set of timbers. So this thing is built with the idea of holding 2 locomotives and whatever cars it needs, in addition to some functioning as a dump dock, because this also serves as the switchback to get into West Metro Petroleum back there. So yeah, it has to be a long, strong assemblage, and I think the rearmost pier is going to have to be a custom-made sort of doodad to brace up and make kind of a bump stop, since obviously you don't want cars or locomotives accidentally going completely unchecked off the end of that thing onto a front end loader. At least that's how the prototype would think about it, right? Right. So anyway, I think 2 minutes is enough time to explain this. See you on the next update.